Andrew had spent the last 15 years as a ranger, patrolling the sprawling forests of Vermont. He loved the solitude of the woods, where the only sounds came from the rustling leaves and the distant calls of wildlife. It was a life steeped in nature, where time moved slowly, like the current of the nearby lake. Each morning he awoke early in his modest cabin, brewed a strong cup of coffee, and listened to the old radio crackle to life. The familiar voices of local DJs filled the air, sharing news and weather updates. He found comfort in their warmth, a contrast to the chill that often blanketed the mornings. The town of Stowe was small, a tight-knit community where everyone knew one another. Andrew was well respected, a figure of stability, often seen visiting local diners and chatting with the townsfolk. He had made a life here, rooted in the land, but also haunted by a past he could never quite escape. His days were filled with routine, checking the trails, greeting campers, and ensuring safety in the wilderness. He took pride in his work, armed with a sense of duty not just to protect the land, but to safeguard its visitors. It was this responsibility that propelled him forward, even when memories of his past weighed heavily on him. The forest was where he found solace, yet it held shadows of things he wished to forget. The laughter of his late wife echoed in the quiet, a bittersweet reminder of love lost and the void it left behind. It was during these contemplative moments that Andrew felt a sense of purpose, a desire to create a safe space for others, especially children, who deserved to experience the beauty of the forests he cherished. But on this particular day, as he ventured deeper into the woods, it was not the tranquility he sought. The smoke, a silent harbinger of chaos, disrupted the rhythm of his day, drawing him into a web of uncertainty. He often thought of the stories that flowed through Stowe, tales of love, loss, and the struggles that shaped lives. There were whispers about a local father fighting for custody of his daughter, the kind of story that lingered in the air like the scent of pine and damp earth. Andrew had seen the man's car parked near the lake just days prior, a fleeting encounter that now felt heavy with meaning. When he reached the site of that hidden fire, it felt as if the forest itself held its breath. Andrew surveyed the scene, his gut churning with unease. There was something wrong here. The abandoned backpack and the drawing spoke volumes of a presence that was supposed to linger, of a child who ought to be safe and sound. As he knelt beside the small pink backpack, a shiver danced down his spine. The forest around him was alive with the sounds of nature, yet all he could hear was the pounding of his heart. Something deep inside urged him to take action, to uncover the truth that lay hidden beneath the surface. He picked up the wallet again, running his fingers over the man's ID. Memories of the custody battles he'd heard whispered in town swirled in his mind. With each passing moment, a sense of urgency built within him. He could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down, urging him to act. In that quiet, secluded forest, Andrew knew the decisions he made would ripple far beyond the trees, intertwining with the fates of lives he had yet to fully understand. Andrew hadn't expected to find himself at the center of a mystery when he set out that morning. The flickering smoke that beckoned him deeper into the woods was a stark contrast to the peaceful routine he cherished. He had imagined another day spent ensuring the safety of campers, not stumbling upon a scene that hinted at something far more troubling. As he returned to his patrol path, the weight of the backpack hung heavy in his mind, each step echoing with unanswered questions. Who had been here? Where were they now? The innocence of the crayon drawing lingered in his thoughts, and he felt a sense of responsibility wash over him, intertwining with the echoes of his own past. Back at his cabin, he poured a fresh cup of coffee and settled at the small kitchen table. The old radio crackled to life, the familiar voices offering a mix of chatter and music that usually soothed him. But today, the words blurred into a dull hum as he replayed the scene in his mind. The empty campsite, the abandoned belongings, the promise captured in a child's drawing, it all gnawed at him. He glanced out the window, the dense forest standing tall and silent, as if guarding its secrets. He thought of the father whose ID he had found, a man embroiled in a custody battle. Andrew had seen the man's car parked near the lake, a fleeting glance that now felt like a crucial piece of the puzzle. The local gossip about the father's struggle swirled in his mind, tales of love turned sour and desperate attempts to maintain a connection with his child. It wasn't lost on Andrew that this could be a story of heartbreak, one that mirrored his own in some ways. Days passed, and the tension in the forest grew palpable. Andrew continued to investigate, retracing his steps to the campsite, each visit filled with a sense of dread. He dug deeper into the man's background, seeking answers among the locals. Whispers of desperation and heartbreak surfaced, resonating with his own experiences, and he began to piece together the fragments of a troubling narrative. The campsite had become a focal point in his mind, a puzzle missing crucial pieces. He recalled seeing a woman, distraught and anxious, lingering near the man's car days before. The townspeople spoke of her with a mix of sympathy and caution, highlighting the complexities of their relationship. It was a tale of love turned sour, of promises made and broken. As Andrew listened to their stories, memories of his own past converged with the present. He recalled the warmth of a family, once whole, now fractured by life's unpredictable twists. He couldn't help but empathize with the father's plight, the longing to hold on to a child amid chaos and uncertainty. The smoke that day had been a cry for help, a signal that something was deeply amiss. As he pieced together the evidence, Andrew realized that the missing father was just a piece of a larger puzzle, an intersection of lives entwined in ways he hadn't fully grasped. With each revelation, the stakes grew higher. He sensed that time was running out. The forest whispered secrets, and Andrew felt a growing compulsion to uncover the truth. He couldn't afford to ignore the mounting signs around him, nor could he turn away from the echoes of his own life that resonated in the shadows. One afternoon, he returned to the clearing, now littered with fallen leaves and the remnants of autumn. The air was crisp, filled with the smell of pine and damp earth. Kneeling by the fire pit, he felt a renewed sense of urgency. He traced the outline of the embers, still warm, and wondered how long it would take for the forest to forget the traces of human presence. He dug through the backpack again, hoping for a clue, a hint of where the father and daughter might be. A small piece of paper slipped out, an old receipt, smudged but still legible. It was from a local diner, dated just a week prior. The familiar name of the diner sent a jolt through him. It was a place he often visited, a hub of conversation and the town's gossip. Later that day, he found himself sitting at a booth in the diner, the smell of bacon and fresh coffee wafting through the air. The familiar sounds of chatter and clinking silverware surrounded him. He scanned the faces of the patrons, searching for anyone who might know the man from the campsite. As he sipped his coffee, Andrew struck up a conversation with the waitress, a young woman with bright eyes and a warm smile. "Have you seen this man around?" Andrew asked, sliding the ID across the table. The waitress took a moment, her brow furrowing in concentration. "Yeah, I know him. His name is Tom. Comes in every now and then, usually looking a bit worn out. He's been struggling lately. Custody issues with his ex-wife, I heard." "What about his daughter?" Andrew pressed. The waitress shrugged. "I know he tries to see her whenever he can. Poor guy. It's tough on him. I think he just wants to do right by her." Andrew mulled over her words as he finished his coffee. Each piece of the puzzle was falling into place, yet he still felt a growing sense of urgency. He had to know more. He needed to find Tom before it was too late. The next day, he drove to the local park where families often gathered. It was a place Andrew knew well, having spent countless hours watching children play and families bond. As he walked along the path, his eyes scanned the crowd, hoping to catch a glimpse of Tom or any sign of his daughter. After what felt like an eternity, he spotted a familiar face. A woman with disheveled hair and a haunted look in her eyes. It was the woman he had seen by Tom's car. Hesitating for a moment, he approached her, unsure of what to say. "Excuse me," he began, his voice steady but gentle. "I'm Andrew, a ranger. I found some of Tom's belongings at a campsite not far from here. I'm trying to understand what happened." The woman tensed, her eyes darting around as if she were searching for an escape. I'm not sure what you mean," she stammered. "Please," Andrew urged, sensing her fear. "I just want to help. He hasn't been seen for days, and I need to know if you've heard from him." The tension in her shoulders eased slightly, and she looked away, staring down the path. I'm Sarah, Tom's ex-wife. He had been planning to take Lily camping. I didn't think he would actually go through with it, though." The name hit Andrew like a wave. Lily. "That's her name," he whispered, the realization settling heavily in his gut. Sarah's voice trembled. "He loves her. He just wanted to spend time with her, to show her the place we used to go. But I was worried. He hasn't been the same since the divorce. I didn't want him to take her out there alone." Andrew's heart sank. The pieces of a tragic story were becoming clearer. "I found her backpack and a drawing," he confessed. "There's something wrong and I think he's in trouble." Sarah's expression shifted, fear intertwining with desperation. "What do you mean? What did you find?" "Just a hint. A sign that something isn't right. I think he might have been in a bad place," Andrew explained. He felt the weight of the world pressing down on him as he spoke. "I need your help. We need to find them." Together, they began to piece together the last known whereabouts of Tom and Lily. They retraced steps, visited the diner, and spoke with anyone who might have seen them. Each conversation revealed more about the depth of Tom's struggles and the bond he shared with his daughter. As dusk settled over the town, Andrew and Sarah found themselves at the edge of the lake, the sun dipping below the horizon. The water shimmered like a mirror, reflecting the fading light. Andrew felt a flicker of hope, a belief that they could turn this around, that they could find Tom and Lily before it was too late. "Thank you for helping me," Sarah said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I've been so scared." Andrew offered a reassuring nod. "We'll get through this. We just need to keep searching." As they stood there, the weight of their shared concern hung in the air, intertwining with the beauty of the moment. The night sky began to blanket the world in darkness, but Andrew felt a flicker of determination ignite within him. He would not let the shadows of the forest swallow them whole. When they returned to the clearing where Andrew had first discovered the abandoned backpack, the stillness felt charged with tension. Every rustle of leaves, every distant call of an animal seemed to resonate with their mission, a shared commitment to uncover the truth. "I have to do this," Andrew murmured, turning to Sarah, "for Lily, for Tom." As night fell, Andrew knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges. But he felt a sense of purpose, a connection to the lives he was striving to protect. In that moment, he understood that sometimes the bravest acts emerged from the depths of uncertainty. The following days were filled with an air of urgency. Andrew and Sarah worked together, gathering information and resources, reaching out to local authorities and organizing search parties. The small community of Stowe rallied around them, eager to lend a hand in the search for Tom and Lily. Flyers were printed and words spread like wildfire. Andrew took to the woods again, meticulously searching every inch of ground near the campsite. He felt a connection to the forest, as if the trees were standing guard, whispering secrets of what had transpired. He could almost hear the echoes of laughter that should have filled the air, replaced now by an unsettling silence. "Let's check the old trail," Andrew suggested one morning, recalling a path less traveled that led deeper into the woods. It was a place he hadn't ventured in years, a remnant from his early days as a ranger, where the wildflowers bloomed and the air felt more alive. Sarah nodded, her determination matching his own. They packed backpacks with supplies, water, snacks, a first aid kit, and flashlights. The sun hung high as they set out, the bright sky above contrasting with the dark uncertainty that loomed ahead. They followed the narrow trail, the crunch of leaves underfoot echoing in the stillness. As they moved deeper into the forest, Andrew couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The trees stood tall, their branches woven together, casting shadows that danced like whispers. Each step carried the weight of his responsibility, the need to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. "Do you think we'll find them?" Sarah asked, breaking the silence. "I have to believe we will," Andrew replied, his voice steady. "We can't give up hope." Their search led them to a thicket where sunlight filtered through the leaves overhead. It felt like an enchanted place, but the beauty of it was overshadowed by their mission. Andrew scanned the ground, searching for any sign of Tom or Lily. Then he saw it, a small pink object peeking through the underbrush. His heart raced as he knelt down, brushing aside the leaves. It was a small hair clip, one that looked just like the one in the drawing he had seen. "Sarah, look!" he called, holding it up. Her eyes widened as she recognized it. "That's Lily's. I remember seeing her wear it," she exclaimed, tears forming in her eyes. The discovery reignited their determination. They pressed on, following the trail, fueled by the possibility that they were getting closer. But as the sun dipped lower in the sky, their hope was met with the harsh reality of time slipping away. Hours passed, and shadows grew long. Andrew felt the weight of uncertainty creeping in, but he pushed it aside. They had to keep searching. He refused to lose faith. Suddenly, the sound of rustling bushes caught his attention. "Did you hear that?" he whispered, motioning for Sarah to be quiet. They stepped cautiously toward the sound, hearts pounding in anticipation. As they neared the source, Andrew's breath caught in his throat. There, nestled under a dense thicket, was a small figure curled up, Tom. He looked disheveled and worn, his eyes closing as if he had been fighting sleep for days. "Tom!" Andrew cried, rushing forward. "It's Andrew, the ranger. We've been looking for you." Tom stirred, blinking up at them, confusion clouding his expression. "What? Where's Lily?" he croaked, panic evident in his voice. Andrew knelt beside him, his heart racing. "We're here to help you. Where's Lily?" Tom's eyes widened in realization. I don't know. I thought she was with me. We were camping and then—" His voice trailed off, the weight of despair settling on his shoulders. "We need to find her," Andrew urged, gripping Tom's shoulder. "We can't lose hope." Tom nodded, pulling himself up with great effort. "I'm so sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. It was supposed to be a day of fun, a way to bond." "Let's retrace your steps," Andrew said, adrenaline surging through him. "We'll find her together." As they made their way back to the campsite, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with hues of orange and purple. The shadows lengthened, but Andrew felt a renewed sense of urgency. They couldn't waste a moment. "Where did you last see her?" Andrew asked, trying to keep Tom focused. "By the water," Tom replied, his voice shaky. "She wanted to catch frogs. I thought it was safe." Andrew felt a knot form in his stomach. The water's edge was a dangerous place for a child, especially alone. "We'll start there." They hurried through the woods, the sound of twigs snapping underfoot as they pushed onward. Each moment felt like an eternity, the weight of their mission growing heavier. Andrew could feel the tension in the air, the forest holding its breath as they searched. When they finally reached the water, the moonlight shimmered across the surface, casting eerie reflections. "Lily," Tom called, his voice breaking. "Where are you, sweetheart?" Andrew stood at the edge, scanning the surroundings. The stillness of the night was deafening, and he felt a knot of fear tightening in his chest. "We'll find her," he reassured Tom, though his own heart raced with uncertainty. Suddenly, a splash echoed in the distance. Andrew's heart leaped. "Did you hear that?" "Yes!" Tom shouted, his voice filled with desperation. "That's her!" They rushed toward the sound, adrenaline coursing through their veins. As they rounded a bend, Andrew spotted a small figure in the water, splashing playfully, giggling as she caught frogs with tiny hands. "Lily! Lily!" Tom shouted, relief flooding his voice. "Lily, come here!" The little girl turned at the sound of her father's voice, an innocent smile spreading across her face. "Daddy!" she squealed, running toward him, the water glistening down her arms. Tom dropped to his knees, scooping her up in a tight embrace, tears streaming down his face. "I was so scared, I thought I lost you." Andrew watched the reunion, a mixture of relief and joy swelling within him. The weight of their journey had lifted, replaced by the warmth of hope rekindled. "Hey, sweet pea," Tom said, brushing her hair back. "What are you doing out here all alone?" "I was catching frogs," she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "They're so cool, Daddy. I wanted to show you." As Andrew stepped back, giving them their moment, he felt a sense of gratitude wash over him. The forest that had once felt so heavy with uncertainty now felt alive with possibility. The shadows were beginning to lift. "Let's get you both back to safety," Andrew said, stepping forward. "We need to make sure you're both okay." Tom nodded, still holding Lily close, his heart full of relief. "Thank you, Andrew. I thought I lost her. I thought—" Andrew placed a reassuring hand on Tom's shoulder. "You're not alone in this. We'll get you through it. Let's head back." As they made their way through the woods, Andrew couldn't shake the feeling that they had been given a second chance, a chance to heal, to rebuild what had been lost. The journey ahead would be challenging, but together they could face whatever lay ahead. And as they walked side by side, the forest whispered its secrets, cradling their newfound hope in its embrace, a reminder that even in darkness there was always a path back to the light. As they walked back through the forest, the moonlight guided their path, illuminating the way with a silver glow. Andrew felt a renewed sense of purpose as he listened to the sounds of the night, the distant calls of owls, and the rustling of leaves in the gentle breeze. The tension that had hung heavy in the air only hours before began to dissipate, replaced by a quiet relief and a profound sense of connection among them. "Daddy, can we go camping again?" Lily chirped, her small voice breaking the silence. She looked up at her father with wide, innocent eyes that sparkled with excitement. Tom smiled down at her, though the worry still lingered in his expression. "Of course, sweetheart. But we'll make sure it's safe next time, okay? Maybe we can take a little hike together first and practice staying close to each other." Lily nodded eagerly, her pigtails bouncing with her enthusiasm. "I want to catch more frogs. They're so cute." Andrew couldn't help but chuckle at her exuberance. It amazed him how a child could find joy in the simplest of things, even after such an ordeal. He glanced at Tom, who looked both relieved and exhausted, the weight of the world slowly lifting from his shoulders. "Thank you for bringing her back to me," Tom said quietly, his voice filled with gratitude. "I didn't know what I would do if I lost her." Andrew nodded, his heart swelling with compassion. "You're a good father, Tom. You fought for her, and that's what matters." They continued their trek through the woods, the path now familiar to Andrew, but filled with unspoken gravity for Tom. Every crack of a branch, every rustle in the underbrush made Tom flinch, his protective instincts kicking in as he held Lily close. Andrew could see the relief and fear colliding within him, a potent reminder of the fragility of their lives. When they finally reached the campsite, the sun had dipped completely below the horizon, casting long shadows across the clearing. The embers from the fire pit glowed faintly, remnants of the chaos that had unfolded just a short while ago. Andrew felt a pang of sadness at the sight of the abandoned belongings, now a symbol of the turmoil they had just escaped. "Let's sit for a moment," Andrew suggested, gesturing toward a fallen log nearby. He wanted to give Tom and Lily a chance to process what had happened, to find a moment of calm in the aftermath of their scare. As they settled down, Tom wrapped an arm around Lily, pulling her close. She leaned against him, her small frame fitting perfectly against his side, a portrait of comfort and protection. Andrew watched them, a smile creeping onto his face. There was something beautiful about witnessing their bond, one that had withstood the test of chaos. "Do you want to tell me what happened out there?" Andrew asked gently, turning to Tom. Tom hesitated, taking a deep breath. "We arrived at the campsite earlier that day, and Lily was so excited to explore. I thought it would be a good way for us to bond after everything that happened with the divorce. I didn't want her to feel abandoned, you know?" Andrew nodded, understanding the complexities of parental love. "It's hard when everything feels so uncertain." Tom continued, his voice trembling slightly. "We spent the morning fishing and things seemed fine. But then she wanted to play near the water and I got distracted. I thought she was close. But when I turned around, she was gone." He looked down, shame washing over his face. "I didn't expect her to wander off like that. I thought I was being a good dad, but—" Andrew interjected softly. "You can't blame yourself for that. Kids are curious, and they don't always understand the dangers around them. What matters is that you're here now, together." Tom sighed, his shoulders slumping. "I've been trying so hard to be there for her, to make up for everything, but I feel like I'm failing her." "You're not failing her," Andrew reassured him. "You're learning just like every parent does. The fact that you care so deeply shows how strong your love for her is." Tom looked up, meeting Andrew's gaze. "Thank you. It's just been a lot lately. The divorce, the custody fights. I want to give her a stable life, but it feels like everything is slipping away from me." "I understand," Andrew replied, feeling a connection with Tom as he shared his own struggles. "Life can throw curveballs, and it can feel overwhelming. Just remember, you're not alone in this. There are people who care about you both." As they spoke, Lily sat quietly, her small hands curled into fists on her lap. She was listening intently, absorbing every word. Andrew couldn't help but admire her resilience. Despite everything she had just been through, she seemed unfazed by the gravity of the situation. "Lily," Andrew said gently, turning to her, "you were so brave out there. How do you feel now?" She looked up at him, her bright eyes shining with innocence. "I feel happy that Daddy found me, and I want to go home now." Andrew smiled. "That's a good feeling to have. It's important to be safe, and it's okay to want to be back in your own space." Tom nodded, squeezing her shoulder. "We'll head home soon, I promise." As darkness enveloped the campsite, Andrew noticed the first stars beginning to twinkle above. The vastness of the night sky felt soothing, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there was beauty to be found. He took a deep breath, letting the cool air fill his lungs and calm his racing heart. "Let's start packing up," Andrew suggested, standing up. "I'll help you both." The trio began to gather their things, the weight of the day slowly lifting as they worked together. Andrew felt a sense of camaraderie, a shared mission that was more than just cleaning up after a camping trip. They were reclaiming their space, their safety, and their bond as a family. As they packed, stories flowed freely. Tom recounted funny moments from their fishing trip, Lily giggling at the images of her father struggling to cast his line. They laughed together, the sound of joy breaking the shadows that had lingered all day. But as Andrew assisted them in packing the car, he couldn't shake the feeling of urgency that still clung to him. The shadows of the forest were still whispering secrets, and he felt a profound need to ensure that Tom and Lily were fully safe before they left. Once the car was loaded, Andrew turned to Tom. "Before you head out, can we take one last look around? I want to make sure everything is clear." Tom nodded, his expression serious yet grateful. "Of course. I appreciate everything you've done." They stepped away from the car, leaving Lily inside with her coloring book, her latest creation sprawled across the back seat. Andrew led Tom to the clearing where they had found the abandoned backpack, a place that felt heavy with its memories. "Tell me more about what you saw," Andrew prompted as they walked. "Any unusual sounds, anything that felt off?" Tom hesitated, searching his memory. Everything felt normal, until she started exploring the water. "I thought I heard something in the bushes earlier, but I dismissed it. It was probably just an animal." Andrew nodded, making a note to check the surrounding area. "It's always smart to pay attention to your instincts. Let's make sure we give the forest a thorough look." Together, they combed through the underbrush, peering into the shadows, checking behind trees and listening for any signs of life. The forest, usually so welcoming, felt different now, almost intimidating as they moved through its depths. As they moved deeper into the woods, Andrew spotted something, a flash of color that stood out against the earthy tones of the forest floor. "Wait here," he instructed Tom, moving cautiously toward the flash. As he approached, his heart sank. It was a child's jacket, bright pink and unmistakably belonging to Lily. He picked it up, turning it over in his hands, feeling the weight of his discovery. "Tom!" he called, his voice steady yet urgent. "Come here!" Tom's eyes widened as he joined Andrew, looking at the jacket with a mixture of confusion and fear. "Where did you find that?" "Just a few yards from the campsite. It was hidden in the bushes," Andrew explained, holding it out for Tom to see. "Do you think she took it off while playing?" Tom's face paled, and he stared at the jacket, realization dawning on him. "Yes, she gets hot easily and sometimes takes it off without thinking. I thought she had it with her the whole time." Andrew felt a knot form in his stomach. "We need to be extra careful. She could have wandered off further than we imagined." Tom swallowed hard, the worry etched on his face. "What should we do?" "Let's retrace her steps. Focus on where she might have gone after she took it off. We need to expand our search radius," Andrew instructed, his voice steady with determination. They moved deeper into the forest, the tension palpable as they continued searching. Every creaking branch and rustle in the leaves sent jolts of anxiety through Tom. He felt the weight of responsibility heavier than ever, and Andrew could see the exhaustion etched into his features. After what felt like hours of searching, Andrew's heart raced. Just ahead, he spotted a small clearing, one he vaguely remembered from his past hikes. "Let's check this area," he said, leading Tom with renewed urgency. The clearing felt different. A whisper of familiarity stirred within him as they stepped inside. In the center was a small rock pool, the water glistening under the moonlight, surrounded by ferns and wildflowers. It was a peaceful spot, but as Andrew scanned the area, he felt a sense of dread creeping back. "Lily!" Tom called out again, his voice echoing through the trees. "Sweetheart!" They searched the perimeter of the clearing, checking every nook and cranny. Andrew's heart raced as he imagined the worst, fear gnawing at him. They had come so far, and he couldn't bear the thought of losing hope again. Suddenly a sound broke the stillness, the faint sound of giggling. It was soft but unmistakable. Andrew's heart leapt as he exchanged a glance with Tom. "Did you hear that?" "Yes," Tom breathed, his eyes wide with hope. They moved toward the sound, pushing through the underbrush, driven by the possibility of finding Lily. As they rounded a cluster of trees, Andrew's breath caught in his throat. There she was, sitting on a log, splashing her feet in the water with a small frog perched on her knee, giggling to herself. "Look, Daddy, I found a frog," she exclaimed, completely unaware of the panic she had caused. Relief flooded over Tom as he rushed forward, kneeling beside her. "Lily, what were you doing? We've been looking everywhere for you." Lily looked up, her face bright with excitement. "I was just playing. He's so cute," she giggled, pointing at the frog, who seemed quite content to remain on her knee. Andrew let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. "You scared us, Lily." "You have to stay close to your father, okay?" "Okay," she chirped, as if the entire ordeal was nothing more than a game. Tom wrapped his arms around her, pulling her into a tight embrace. "You scared me half to death, little one," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "I thought I lost you." "I'm sorry, Daddy," she murmured, her voice muffled against his shoulder. "I just wanted to catch frogs." Andrew watched their reunion, his heart swelling with gratitude. They had made it through the darkness, and now, in this moment, everything felt right again. As they made their way back to the campsite, Andrew felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. They had faced the unknown, and together they had emerged stronger. The forest, once a place of fear, had transformed into a sanctuary of hope. Once back at the campsite, they settled in for the night, building a small fire to ward off the chill. The warmth enveloped them as they shared stories, laughter, and the lessons learned from the day's events. Andrew felt a sense of camaraderie with Tom and Lily that he had never anticipated. "Thank you for everything," Tom said, leaning closer to the fire. "You didn't have to help us, but you did." Andrew smiled, feeling the weight of gratitude in the air. "It's what we do. Look out for one another. I know the struggles of being a parent, and I want to make sure children have the chance to grow up safe and happy." Lily leaned in, resting her head against Tom's shoulder. "Can we come back here again?" she asked, her voice sleepy. "Of course," Tom replied, brushing his fingers through her hair. "Next time, we'll make sure to bring more snacks and stay together." The warmth of the fire flickered in the cool night air, and Andrew felt a sense of peace settle over them. The forest, alive with its secrets, now felt like a guardian, cradling their newfound connection. As the stars twinkled above, Andrew couldn't shake the feeling that this experience had forged an unbreakable bond. The shadows that had once loomed large had been cast away by the light of their shared journey. In this moment, he was reminded that even in the face of uncertainty, hope was always within reach, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. And as they sat together, sharing stories and laughter beneath the vast expanse of the night sky, Andrew knew that they had all grown stronger together, united by the threads of their stories woven into the fabric of the forest around them. As the fire crackled softly in the crisp night air, Andrew felt a warmth that extended beyond the physical. The reunion of Tom and Lily had been a moment of profound connection, a reminder of the strength of family bonds amidst chaos. They sat together, their shadows dancing against the backdrop of the trees, filled with laughter and relief as they shared stories. "So, what's the name of that frog?" Lily asked, her eyes sparkling as she leaned forward, clearly enamored by her recent adventure. Tom chuckled, shaking his head. "I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a name yet, but we can call it Freddy the Frog if that makes you happy." "Freddy!" Lily exclaimed, her face lighting up. "I love it. Can we take him home?" Andrew smiled, watching the exchange. I don't think Freddie would like being carried in a backpack all the way to town. Frogs prefer their own habitat, you know. Can we at least look for him next time? Lily pressed, her enthusiasm infectious. Absolutely, Tom promised, pulling her closer. We'll make it a tradition. As the evening wore on, Andrew reflected on the day's events. The search through the woods, the discovery of the jacket, and finally finding Lily had been a whirlwind of emotions. It had forced him to confront his own past and the pain of loss he had buried deep within. He realized that helping Tom and Lily had also been an act of healing for himself, a chance to reconnect with the very essence of what it meant to be a protector. Hey, how about we make a campfire snack? Andrew suggested, breaking through the reverie. I think I saw some marshmallows in your supplies. Yay! Lily cheered, bouncing slightly in her seat. Can we roast them? Of course, Tom replied, his voice filled with affection. Just like we used to do when you were little. As Andrew rummaged through their supplies, he found the marshmallows and some graham crackers. He pulled out a couple of skewers, and soon they were gathered around the fire, roasting marshmallows to perfection. The sweet aroma filled the air, mingling with the earthy scent of the forest, creating a nostalgic atmosphere that seemed to wrap around them like a warm blanket. Let's make s'mores, Lily declared, her eyes wide with excitement. Great idea, Andrew replied, carefully skewering a marshmallow and holding it over the flames. Just watch it closely. We don't want Freddie to end up in a sticky situation too. They laughed together, the sound echoing through the forest. As the marshmallows toasted, Andrew couldn't help but feel grateful for this moment, the simplicity of sharing laughter and food around a fire, the camaraderie that had formed between them. As they enjoyed their s'mores, Tom opened up more about his life, sharing stories of his and Lily's adventures before the divorce. We used to come out here every summer, he said, a smile on his face as he reminisced. Lily loved to hike the trails, and we'd often find hidden spots like this. Can we do that again, Daddy? Lily asked, her small hands sticky with melted chocolate and marshmallow. I want to find all the hidden places. Tom chuckled, nodding. Absolutely. We'll explore every inch of this forest together. It'll be our special place. Andrew listened, feeling a sense of warmth in his heart. It was clear that despite the hardships Tom faced, his love for Lily never wavered. He was determined to provide her with the experiences that would create lasting memories, to give her the stability and joy she deserved. As night deepened, the stars twinkled overhead, shimmering like diamonds scattered across a dark, velvet canvas. Andrew felt the weight of the world lift as they shared more stories, their laughter mixing with the sounds of the forest. The community and shared experiences would serve as a foundation for healing, both for Tom and Lily, and for himself. After finishing their snacks, they sat back, watching the fire flicker. The warmth enveloped them like a comforting embrace. Andrew noticed how the firelight danced across their faces, illuminating Lily's joy and Tom's quiet contemplation. Do you think we'll ever stop coming here? Tom asked, breaking the comfortable silence. Never, Lily chimed in immediately. This is our forever place. Andrew smiled at the innocence in her voice. A place of memories for sure. Just remember, it's not the place that matters most, it's who you're with. Tom nodded, his expression serious yet hopeful. I've learned that the hard way. I let the chaos of life distract me from what truly mattered. I want to make things right for her, no matter what it takes. You're already making the right choices, Andrew said, placing a reassuring hand on Tom's shoulder. Being here, being present, that's what counts. And it's clear you love her deeply. The conversation shifted, drifting toward the challenges that lay ahead. Tom spoke about his custody battles and the difficult conversations he had with his ex-wife. Andrew listened intently, offering words of encouragement and support. He had seen enough families struggle in his time as a ranger to understand the complexities of relationships, especially those tested by separation and misunderstandings. "You need to remember that it's not about winning or losing," Andrew said thoughtfully. "It's about what's best for Lily. Focus on creating a stable environment for her, and the rest will fall into place." Tom sighed, visibly more relaxed. "I appreciate your perspective. I've been so caught up in the fight that I lost sight of that. Being out here with her tonight reminds me of what truly matters." As they prepared to pack up, Andrew felt a sense of closure, a recognition that their paths had intertwined for a reason. Each of them had faced their struggles, but now they were united by the shared experience of overcoming adversity and rediscovering joy. "Let's get you both back home safely," Andrew said, standing up and extending a hand to help Tom. "Tomorrow is a new day, and we want to start fresh." With the stars shining brightly above them, they packed their belongings, each item a reminder of the journey they had shared. They moved through the campsite with purpose, their bond strengthened by the trials they had faced together. As they drove away from the forest, Andrew felt a sense of fulfillment. It was a journey that had started with a flicker of smoke, turning into a complex web of connections. They had navigated uncertainty, fear, and ultimately hope, and it had led them to this moment. "Freddie the Frog would be proud of us," Lily declared from the back seat, her voice filled with innocence and joy. Andrew chuckled, glancing back at her through the rearview mirror. Yes, he would be the happiest frog in the forest. Tom smiled at his daughter's enthusiasm, the warmth of their connection palpable. "Next time, we'll bring Freddie with us, and who knows, maybe we'll find even more frogs to join our adventure." As the car made its way down the winding road, Andrew felt a sense of peace settle in. The forest may have held its secrets, but it also offered redemption and new beginnings. He had walked through the shadows, but now he could see the light shining on the horizon. "Here's to new adventures," Andrew said, raising an imaginary toast in the air. "To new adventures," Tom and Lily echoed, their voices harmonizing in unison, an affirmation of the journey they had embarked upon together. And as they made their way home, Andrew felt the weight of the past lift, replaced by a sense of hope for the future, a belief that even amid darkness, the bonds of family and love could shine brightly, lighting the way forward. The drive back to Stowe was markedly different from the one earlier that day. The tension that had gripped Andrew, Tom, and Lily had dissipated, replaced with a sense of hope and relief. As they approached the town, Andrew glanced in the rearview mirror. Lily was asleep, her small frame nestled against the window, while Tom sat beside her, a contemplative look on his face. "Are you feeling any better?" Andrew asked, breaking the silence. Tom turned to him, a grateful smile forming. "I really am. I didn't know what I would do if I lost her. Today made me realize how precious these moments are." Andrew nodded, understanding the weight of Tom's fears. "It's easy to feel overwhelmed, especially as a parent. It's about being present and cherishing the time you have." Tom sighed, leaning back in his seat. "I took my relationship with Lily for granted. I thought I had more time to figure things out, but now I see it's fragile." "Life has a way of teaching us hard lessons," Andrew replied. "But it seems like you're committed to being the father she needs. That's what counts." "Thanks for saying that," Tom said, his voice low. "I want to make more memories like today. It was terrifying, but it also reminded me of what really matters." As they drove through familiar streets, Andrew felt a sense of comfort wash over him. The town, with its quaint buildings and warm streetlights, felt like a safe haven. When they finally reached Tom's home, Andrew parked the car, and the three of them stepped out into the cool evening air. Let's make a big breakfast together tomorrow, Andrew suggested, the idea sparking excitement. Pancakes and bacon sound good? Lily stirred awake, her eyes brightening at the mention of food. Can we make them shaped like animals? Tom laughed, ruffling her hair. Absolutely, we can make a pancake zoo. With Lily's excitement bubbling over, they headed inside. Tom flicked on the lights, and the familiar warmth of home enveloped them. As Lily dashed off to gather her art supplies, Andrew turned to Tom. "Thank you for being so open," Andrew said. "It's clear you love her deeply." Tom nodded, visibly relieved. "I've been so caught up in the chaos. Tonight reminded me of what's truly important." They gathered around the dining table to create cards for Lily's grandparents, each drawing reflecting their day's adventure. Laughter filled the room as they shared stories, and Andrew felt a sense of fulfillment. This was what it meant to be part of a family, sharing experiences and supporting one another. After finishing the cards, Andrew stood to leave. "I should head back. I've got an early morning ahead of me." "Thanks for everything, Andrew," Tom said sincerely. "I don't think I could have done it without you." "You're welcome. Just know that I'm always here if you need anything," Andrew replied, stepping toward the door. Lily rushed to him, wrapping her small arms around his waist. "Thank you for helping us." "Absolutely," Andrew said, smiling down at her. "We'll have many more adventures together." Ding! As he exited the house, the crisp night air welcomed him. He took a deep breath, letting the tranquility of the evening settle in. The stars twinkled above, a reminder of hope and possibilities yet to come. In the days that followed, Andrew remained close to Tom and Lily. They hiked together, explored local parks and shared meals. Each moment became a building block, strengthening their bond and creating lasting memories. Tom sought therapy to process his feelings about the divorce, allowing him to fully embrace his role as a father. One chilly afternoon, as snow began to blanket the landscape, Andrew received a call from Tom. "Hey, can we meet up? I've been thinking about everything and want to talk." "Of course," Andrew replied, intrigued. "What's on your mind?" "I want to thank you for being there for us," Tom began, his voice steady. "You've changed our lives." Andrew felt honored. "I'm glad I could help. Let's meet up. I'd love to hear what you've been thinking." As they scheduled a time to meet, Andrew felt excitement bubbling within him. He was eager to see how Tom had grown and what new paths lay ahead for both of them. The forest, once a place of uncertainty, had transformed into a haven filled with connection, healing, and fresh starts. As winter approached, Andrew watched the snowflakes fall, each one a reminder of the relationships he was nurturing. He understood that while challenges lay ahead, the bonds between them had only just begun to blossom. When the day of their meeting arrived, Andrew drove to Tom's house, feeling a mix of anticipation and pride. He knocked on the door, and Tom welcomed him inside, looking more relaxed and confident than before. "Thanks for coming," Tom said, motioning for Andrew to sit. "I've been reflecting a lot, and I want to make a real effort to be the best father I can be." Andrew smiled, impressed by Tom's determination. "That's great to hear. What are your thoughts?" "I want to make sure Lily knows she's loved and supported. I've started planning more activities for us, and I'm committed to being more involved in her life," Tom said, his voice filled with resolve. "Those are important steps," Andrew replied. "Being present means everything to her." Tom leaned forward, his eyes earnest. "I also want to create a safe space for her emotions and help her navigate through life's challenges. I've realized how important it is to talk about feelings and to show her that it's okay to be vulnerable." "That's a powerful realization," Andrew said. "Encouraging her to express her feelings will help her grow into a strong person." As they talked, Andrew noticed a newfound sense of clarity in Tom. He was beginning to embrace his role as a father with open arms, and it filled Andrew with hope. Their discussions shifted to future plans, brainstorming ways to engage Lily in the community and expose her to new experiences. "I'd love to take her camping again, maybe even on a winter trip," Tom suggested. "I want to show her how to appreciate nature, just like you showed us." "I'd love to join you," Andrew said, feeling a sense of excitement at the thought. There's something magical about winter camping. Everything looks different under snow, and the quiet is beautiful. As their conversation continued, Andrew realized that they were no longer just acquaintances brought together by circumstance. They had formed a genuine friendship built on trust and shared experiences. When it was time to leave, Andrew felt a surge of gratitude. "I'm proud of the progress you're making, Tom. Keep up the good work." "Thanks for being my partner in this," Tom replied, a smile on his face. "I couldn't have done it without you." As Andrew stepped outside into the crisp evening air, he felt a sense of peace envelop him. The support system he had built with Tom and Lily was blossoming into something truly special. The forest, once a place of uncertainty, had morphed into a sanctuary of healing and connection, one that would continue to guide them on their journey toward brighter days ahead. And as the snow fell softly around him, Andrew knew they would face whatever challenges lay ahead together, stronger than ever. The winter months wrapped Stowe in a pristine blanket of snow, transforming the town into a picturesque winter wonderland. Andrew found himself settling into a comforting routine, often spending weekends with Tom and Lily. Their days were filled with laughter and exploration as they ventured into the woods, built snowmen, and raced down hills on sleds. One bright Saturday morning, Andrew arrived at Tom's house, a sled tucked under his arm and excitement bubbling within him. The air was crisp, and the sun shone brightly in the clear winter sky, casting a cheerful glow over the neighborhood. As he knocked on the door, he could hear Lily's voice ringing out from within. "Andrew!" she exclaimed, flinging the door open wide. She was bundled up in her winter coat, her cheeks rosy from the cold. "Hey there, little snow angel. Are you ready for some sledding?" Andrew asked, grinning at her enthusiasm. "Yeah," Lily squealed, bouncing on her toes. "Daddy said we could go to the big hill today." Tom stepped into view behind her, his face lighting up with a smile. "Good to see you. We're all set for some fun." "I hope you've been practicing. I'm ready for a challenge." With Lily leading the charge, they made their way to the sledding hill, passing neighbors walking their dogs and families enjoying the snowy day. Upon arriving, Andrew took in the bustling scene. The hill was alive with laughter and joy, children racing down with squeals of delight. "Let's claim our spot," Lily shouted, running ahead to the crest of the hill. They trudged through the snow, finally settling into position. Andrew helped Lily onto the sled, feeling a rush of nostalgia as they prepared to launch down the hill. "Ready?" he asked, positioning himself behind her. "Ready," she echoed, her eyes sparkling. With a mighty push, they propelled down the hill, the wind whipping past them. Andrew felt the thrill of adrenaline as they sped downward, their laughter mingling with the sounds of others around them. They soared over bumps and dips, the world blurring into a white rush. When they reached the bottom, Andrew burst into laughter. "That was incredible! We're definitely winning!" "Again! Again!" Lily shouted, her excitement infectious. Tom joined the fun, a proud smile on his face. "Let's race. I'll show you both how it's done." They took turns racing down the hill, each run filled with gleeful shouts. As the sun began to dip, painting the sky with shades of pink and orange, Andrew felt a deep sense of contentment. This was what he had hoped for, lasting memories created from shared laughter and adventure. After several runs, they took a break, sitting together on the snow. Lily nestled between her father and Andrew, her cheeks flushed with excitement and her breath forming little clouds in the cold air. "This is the best day ever," she declared, her voice a soft, happy proclamation. Tom turned to Andrew, gratitude shining in his eyes. "Thank you for being here. You've made a huge difference in our lives." "I'm just glad we can share these moments," Andrew replied, feeling the warmth of their camaraderie. "It's the little things that matter most." As they shared stories and laughter, the sun continued to set, casting a warm glow over the snowy landscape. Andrew glanced around, taking in the beauty of the scene, the families, the laughter, the warmth of connection. It was a reminder that even in the cold of winter, warmth could be found in relationships and shared experiences. Eventually, the chill in the air prompted Andrew to suggest heading back. "How about we warm up with some hot chocolate? I think I saw a cafe nearby." "Yes, hot chocolate!" Lily exclaimed, her eyes lighting up. At the cafe, they were welcomed by the warmth that enveloped them like a cozy blanket. They settled into a booth, and soon steaming mugs of hot chocolate arrived, topped with fluffy marshmallows. The rich aroma filled the air, and Lily's eyes sparkled as she took her first sip. "This is the best hot chocolate ever," she declared, her mouth full. Tom chuckled, watching his daughter with pride. "You always know how to enjoy the little things." Throughout the evening, they shared stories and laughter, the cafe echoing with their joy. Andrew felt a profound sense of gratitude. Moments like these were what life was all about: the warmth of friendship, the joy of family, and the beauty of shared experiences. As they finished their drinks, Andrew leaned back, feeling content. "We should do this more often. It's a great way to spend winter days together." "Agreed," Tom said earnestly. "I want to keep creating these moments for both of us. It's important." Lily nodded enthusiastically, her face glowing with happiness. "Yes, more adventures, please." After leaving the cafe, Andrew felt a renewed sense of purpose. The bond he had forged with Tom and Lily had grown stronger, and he cherished the connection they had built. The forest, once a place of uncertainty, had become a sanctuary of hope, love, and shared experiences. That night, as Andrew drove home through the quiet streets of Stowe, he reflected on how far they had come. The challenges they had faced together had only deepened their relationships, and he felt honored to be part of their journey. The laughter, the joy, and the warmth they shared were a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Looking up at the stars twinkling against the dark sky, Andrew felt a deep sense of gratitude. He knew that together they would continue to navigate the challenges of life, finding strength and joy in each other's company. The promise of tomorrow was bright, filled with the potential for more adventures and the beauty of connection. And as he pulled into his driveway, he felt hopeful for the future, ready to embrace whatever came next for their small but growing family. As winter transitioned into early spring, Stowe began to awaken from its snowy slumber. Andrew felt a surge of excitement as he anticipated the adventures that lay ahead with Tom and Lily. One sunny Saturday morning, he drove to Tom's house, eager to see what they had planned. Upon arriving, Andrew noticed the vibrant blooms starting to peek through the thawing ground. Lily opened the door, her bright smile lighting up the day. "Andrew!" she exclaimed, pulling him inside. "Come see what we're doing." Tom was in the kitchen, surrounded by pots of soil and seedlings. "We decided to start a little garden," he said with a grin. "Lily is really excited about it." "Daisies and sunflowers," Lily chimed in. "They're my favorites." "Great choices," Andrew replied, feeling a warmth spread through him. "Sunflowers are like little rays of sunshine." They gathered around the table, planting seedlings together. Andrew felt an immense sense of happiness as they nurtured the earth, each seed symbolizing hope and growth. "Like this?" Lily asked, concentrating as she pressed a seedling into the soil. "Exactly. You're doing great," Andrew praised, watching her face light up with joy. After planting several pots, they moved to the backyard to dig a small patch for their garden. The sun warmed their backs as they worked, laughter filling the air with every playful exchange. It was a simple day, but it reminded Andrew that happiness could be found in even the smallest moments. Once the garden was planted, they stepped back to admire their work. "This looks amazing," Tom said, wrapping an arm around Lily. "We did a great job together." "Can we water them now?" Lily asked eagerly. "Of course," Andrew said, "but we have to be gentle. They're just babies right now." They took turns watering the plants, Lily giggling as she accidentally splashed some water on herself. Andrew laughed, feeling the joy of the moment envelop them. As they cleaned up, Tom turned to Andrew. "You know, I've been thinking about how much has changed since we started spending time together. I really appreciate you being a part of our lives." "I'm grateful too," Andrew replied. "It's been wonderful to see you and Lily grow closer." "I want to keep building this connection and making memories," Tom said sincerely. The afternoon sun cast a warm glow as they stood together, a small family united by love and friendship. Andrew felt a swell of hope and contentment. As they finished cleaning up, Lily excitedly suggested, "Can we have a picnic in the park next weekend? We can play and eat our favorite snacks." "Sounds like a fantastic idea," Tom replied, enthusiasm in his voice. "What do you think, Andrew?" "I'd love to join you both," Andrew said, imagining the laughter and joy that awaited them. With plans set for their picnic, Andrew felt a deep sense of belonging. He had found a place not just in Tom and Lily's lives, but in their hearts. Together, they faced whatever challenges lay ahead, creating cherished memories that would last a lifetime.